Welcome to Hollywood Actions. In this video, we are going to uncover the darker side of old Hollywood, as we take a shocking journey through the lives of the most despicable and hated actors of classic Hollywood. These stars may have lit up the silver screen, but behind the scenes, they were known for their outrageous behavior, ruthless ambition, explosive tempers, and downright cruelty. Some were bullies on set, others were loathed by their co-stars, and a few even faced the wrath of the public for scandals that rocked the entertainment industry. Now, let's dive in. 1. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was the epitome of swashbuckling charm on screen, a handsome, daring action hero who captured hearts in classics like Captain Blood and The Adventures of Robin Hood. But off-screen, he was one of the most controversial and loathed figures of the Golden Age. Behind Flynn's smoldering grin was a man with a disturbing reputation. He was infamous for his debauchery, heavy drinking, and womanizing. His behavior on set was frequently erratic, often causing delays due to hangovers or outbursts. He died in 1959 at just 50, his liver destroyed by alcohol, and his legacy permanently stained by scandal. 2. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford was a Hollywood icon, a fierce, driven woman who clawed her way to the top. But for many who worked with her, she was also a manipulative diva with a brutal streak. Crawford was notorious for her obsessive control over her image. She reportedly scrubbed her hands with bleach, forbade wrinkles, and demanded co-stars be less attractive than her. She feuded with everyone, including Bette Davis, with whom she had a legendary rivalry. Crawford was accused of sabotaging other actors' careers and manipulating studio executives to stay relevant. 3. Walter Brennan. Walter Brennan won 3 Academy Awards and was often cast as the lovable sidekick or crusty old-timer. But behind his friendly on-screen persona was a man many in Hollywood avoided. Brennan was extremely conservative, to the point of extremism. He was openly racist, homophobic, and proud of it. He allegedly cheered when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated and was a member of the far-right John Birch Society. Many actors and crew members refused to work with Brennan because of his hateful views. 4. Raymond Burr. Raymond Burr, best known as Perry Mason in Ironside, lived a life shrouded in deception, and those who knew him often described him as cold and manipulative. To protect his image and hide his sexuality during a homophobic era, Burr fabricated a fake life story. He invented a dead wife and a dead son. He even lied about serving in World War II and being wounded in combat. The fabrications were elaborate and unnecessary, especially given his actual talent, but Burr insisted on maintaining these lies for decades. He was also known to be emotionally distant. 5. George Raft. George Raft was a convincing gangster in films, maybe too convincing. His connections to the real-life mob were no secret, and his career was often more defined by who he knew than what he did. Raft turned down some of the most iconic roles in film history, including Sam Spade in The Maltese Falcon, simply because he didn't want to lose his tough guy image. He reportedly helped actual gangsters gain access to Hollywood parties and even aided in money laundering. Many in the industry feared him, and some resented him for playing both sides of the law. 6. Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle was one of the biggest comedy stars of silent film, until a single, horrifying scandal destroyed his career and reputation forever. In 1921, Arbuckle was accused of raping and accidentally killing aspiring actress Virginia Rappe during a wild party at a San Francisco hotel. The press had a field day, branding Arbuckle as a monster. Though he was eventually acquitted after 3 trials, the damage was irreversible. Studios blacklisted him, theaters refused to show his films, and he became a symbol of Hollywood decadence and depravity. 7. Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby was America's beloved crooner, the smooth voice behind White Christmas. But his children painted a far different picture of the man behind the music. In his 1983 memoir, Going My Own Way, Crosby's son Gary described him as cold, physically abusive, and emotionally unavailable. He claimed Bing beat his sons with belts and harshly criticized them, often driving them to despair. 2 of Crosby's sons died by suicide, and critics began to reevaluate his pristine public image. On set, Crosby was described as aloof and egotistical. 8. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando revolutionized acting with his raw power and emotion, but off-screen, he could be arrogant, dismissive, and shockingly cruel. Brando frequently clashed with directors, producers, and fellow actors. On the set of Apocalypse Now, he showed up overweight, unprepared, and refused to memorize his lines. Francis Ford Coppola called working with him a nightmare. Brando's private life was riddled with controversy, multiple affairs, lawsuits from mistresses, and estranged children. He was accused of emotional abuse and manipulation. 9. Peter Lorre. Peter Lorre was unforgettable in films like M and the Maltese Falcon, but his tortured brilliance masked deep bitterness and a difficult personality. Lorre was famously insecure about his looks, his accent, and his career. This insecurity translated into jealousy and pettiness. He often resented the success of colleagues like Humphrey Bogart and lashed out in interviews or private conversations. On set, he could be moody and passive-aggressive, refusing direction and sulking when his ideas were dismissed. He was also known for substance abuse. 10. Lew Ayres. Lew Ayres was a rising star after All Quiet on the Western Front, but his career took a hit when he publicly declared himself a conscientious objector during World War II. In patriotic wartime Hollywood, this was unforgivable. Ayres was immediately branded un-American and cowardly. Studios dropped him, and co-stars refused to associate with him. Some even demanded he be fired from productions. Though he did serve in the medical corps, the stigma remained.